6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International superstar, Miss Butter B. Rocker!
You are now tuned in to Butter B Rocker on Transparency Talks Podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Transparency Talks Podcast. I am your girl, Butter B Rocker. Listen, we have an amazing show for you today. I'm super excited to bring on this young lady. But before I do, this episode was brought to you by Diabetic Cuisine Spices. Go to diabeticcuisinespices.com to get more information. Okay, so let's just dive right on into this interview. I'm super excited to bring on this young lady. She is the founder and visionary behind the Show Up, Stand Up, Speak Up, Yes You movement. Can you guys please show some love for Deborah Drummond? Hello, beautiful. How are you?
It is a day. It is a good day. I am as excited and honored to be on your show today, my God.
Well, you look absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
No problem. So here at Transparency, I like to dive right on in. Can you tell everybody a little bit of background about yourself?
Absolutely. First of all, I live in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. I am a mama and a yaya. Yes, I am. So I always take nice compliments about looking good. A little bit about myself. You know what? I played in the music industry in my 20s. I had an epiphany that it was time to shift and start serving differently. Do you know what I mean? Start serving differently. And I did. And I delved for many years into the discovery of holistic medicine and taking that global. And I have always been in service. No matter what I do, it's in service. And when you look back on my, 32 years of being an entrepreneur, it has been about creating platforms for people to platform from. So I don't mind being on the front of the stage, and I sure in heck don't mind being behind the stage, creating platforms, which has taken us to the event that you talked about today, which is the Stand Up, Speak Up, and Show Up. It is based from my media company, Mission Accepted, which supports people that are on a mission. And we have gathered upwards of 450 women that are on a mission to stand up and speak up and show up. And it's the largest international Women's Day event that's ever been created for speakers or authors. So, you know, it's a little busy.
Wow. I mean, you rode past that really quick. You just said 450 women.
450 women. By the time all 262 women in the book, alongside all of the 200 plus speakers, that is the movement that is happening behind the scene, behind the stage. When we go forward, you can imagine the impact that that's going to make. We are actually in the process right now. We just completed our 8th summit out of 22 summits. Wow. Heading into our 9th. And we've had thousands of women and those that support women all over the world come to the summits that we do. Obviously, it's virtually online and it's an international playground. So there's women from all over the world doing all over just really incredible things, right? Gathering together for a movement. Yeah.
Okay. So 22 summits. How did you come up with the vision to do this movement?
Well, honestly, I was in my early 30s and I had probably been in entrepreneurship for 5 or 6 years. And I don't, without aging myself when I say back then, because it wasn't so long ago, but it was long enough before there was Google, you know. I was working out of a Women's Day planner and it literally went out of print. And like, we didn't call our planners business tools or sales tools or anything back then. It was my planner, you know what I mean? There was like no way of tracking your calendar. And it went out of print. And I said, so be careful what you say, because I don't think I just said it. I think I claimed it. It was this amazing book with these black and white pictures from women and photography. And I'm like, I'm going to make one of these one day. So off I go into my world, holistic medicine, creating business. I'm studying top performance in terms of business acumen and helping people with acquisition and, helping people acquire companies and doing all this kind of really cool stuff. Never did I think I was going to own a media company. Never did I think I was going to create a planner, and never did I think I was going to create books. But my life took it to that a number of years ago. I created a media company, started creating planners, started creating summits, started creating stage presence, and started creating books. It was actually the first thing I did in my media business outside the podcast. And so as I did that, I was like, I'm going to make a planner, but I didn't make a beautiful women's planner. I made it for what I had been studying, which is top performance entrepreneurship. And then it was this little health issue that our world was having. And I was walking across the bridge one day, literally walking across the bridge to meet my one girlfriend that I could go for a walk with once a week. And as I was walking across the bridge, I heard the words screamed in my ear, "It's time," so loud that I jumped. And I don't know if anyone's ever gotten those messages before, but they're kind of non-negotiable. And I heard "it's time" so loud, it just kind of reverberated in my body. And I heard one thing. I heard, do a marathon, donate the money to the music industry, Amnesty International, Ireland. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to do a marathon in Ireland, donate the money to the music industry. Okay, that all made sense because, I've been to Ireland a number of times. I love it. I haven't done a marathon for 19 years. Let's get, serious. But I've been doing a lot of work for Amnesty International in the music industry, and that's my play. I didn't jump up and down, but it made sense. So as I was starting to put that project into play, I literally was sitting at the same desk, and I got this message, and I called my publicist and I said, this woman's book I've been yakking about for a long time and not doing anything about. She goes, yeah. I go, apparently it's time. And so she's like, how many women? Now, we had just finished doing a book for 22 women, and it just rocked. It was like #1 for 5 weeks and 140 million impressions in media. And we were all super happy and super excited. So she was thinking around 22, and I was probably thinking a little more than that. And I said, I don't know, I'll pray and meditate tonight and let you know tomorrow. And for 3 days, I got the answer 262. And for 3 days, I was like, no. But when I texted my girlfriend, how are you, on that last day, and 262 came across my phone, I called her and I said, it's 262. And she said, no. And I said, I've been fighting for 3 days. It's 262. And that's what started the book. And it only was going to be the book. And then, a number of months later, I'm sitting on my couch office. I don't know if anyone has a couch office, but I have a couch office, and Netflix was on in the background, and a movie got sent up, and it was like, you've watched movies like this and you should watch this one too. And I kind of glanced up and I was like, I didn't know the movie. And I was like, it's got Steinem all over it. I'm not in the mood tonight. No offense, Gloria. I love you and I love your work. I just wasn't in the mood for anything political that night. And I again heard, we've sent it 3 times. Watch the damn movie. So, girl, I watched the damn movie, and it was the life story of Gloria Allred. And I was so moved and so inspired that I just started writing. I canceled my day the next day. I called my publicist, said, we're launching International Women's Day. And the message that I got is that women have forgotten about International Women's Day. It's become a Facebook posting day. And you need to get women to remember International Women's Day the way a mom does Mother's Day. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to walk across Ireland, and now you want me to do this. It was 2 really big projects. I got to say, it was a little engulfing. My next book is #God Pick on Someone Else. And so we started digging in, and we created summits, and that seemed to be the best way to have global access, made it free. So there was no barrier to entry, and invited women to come remember. There's this day. It's pretty cool. And it's your day. So let's own our day and not go send out some Facebook posts and then go do the same thing we do every other day, which is probably give outwards and come together in solidarity, whatever that means to you. And so women for 8 months now have been coming together in solidarity, and it's been pretty incredible. I couldn't have dreamed this one up. I never sat there with a business plan. You know what I mean? Like, there's been hope, prayer, strategic plans, business, like it's all infrastructure, there's a major team in play. But it's unexplainable.
You just said a lot. You said a whole lot. Okay. So I'm a dissect everything that you just said.
Okay.
You are doing a book that is featuring 262 women.
Hmm.
And this book is going to entail what?
So it's going to launch International Women's Day. It's going to
Okay.
entail 262 women being platformed like a full cover spread. So when you open the book, on the left-hand side, it is who that woman is, not what they do, who they are, what they stand for, what's important to them, what's their legacy, what can they share with you about life.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the right-hand side, the top of the page says stand up, speak up, and show up. Now they're going to say what they do, but why they do it. And then if you are drawn in, they're going to invite you to come play. Like,
Wow.
come listen to me, come see me, come hear my talk, come read my book, come hear my songs. And then a beautiful, guess what? Black and white picture. No headshots and no blazers allowed in this book. That is the tagline to this book. Like, it's not allowed. And it's a black and white picture of just pure photography, like just an authentic picture. I've said to women, I don't care if you're brushing your teeth. You're not giving me a social media picture. So
Right.
it just really shows, and then each woman is giving 2 words on the bottom of that page before the reader goes to the next page. That's a directive message. It could be liberate yourself, pray more, say yes, say no, eat chocolate, eat
Mhm.
apples, whatever message that you want a woman. So she can literally flip through that book and get 262 positive impressions.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's big.
That's big.
And when are you expecting the book to be done?
We will launch International Women's Day is the first book launch. And then 8 weeks later, May 11th, the day before Mother's Day, is the second book launch. And then 3 weeks after we rest, spa, chill, sleep, we are going to be doing some live book tours 2024, 2025, and 2026. So any
Wow.
woman that's in the book can call for a live book launch in her area or her country.
Wow. Okay. And how do you find these women to put into your book and for your summit?
Yeah, well, you know what? You say a few things to a few women, and I opened up my email this morning, and there was a woman that I guess had put me together with 6 people, and I was like, okay, let's go. So, we put the word out. I have a media company, you know what I mean? We've been very, very successful with book publication in the past. I've been doing this thing for 32 years. I know people in certain areas, so I started making phone calls. They started making phone calls. We've had people doing some things on social media and sharing on social media. And it's really been a lot of this person knows this person to this person that knows this person. It's getting pretty big. We're at the stage where we're actually putting group information sessions together that people can just hear and come see if what we have serves them, yeah, that's kind of how it's going at this point.
Wow.
So we're I think we really only have maybe 10, 12 speaker spots left that are the platform spots. And then we have 48 speaker shout outs, which are 4 minutes. And then we're halfway through the book. So we're
Wow.
looking for the other half. So if anyone's going, ooh, that sounds like me, then you can reach out.
Absolutely. So tell us about some of your speakers that you've featured so far in your summits.
Right. Well, we have you, and we're so excited. I mean, everything's getting busy behind the scenes, so we're very excited. Some of the people that we've had on, like this month for October, we had Kathy Bushnell, and Kathy Bushnell was the first woman duo to hit the British invasion. She opened for Deep Purple. She had just an incredible experience of being a young woman in the music scene in 1967 and what that was all about. She played to houses that had never been heard of before. And certainly it was really interesting for her being a woman at that stage in the game and play. We've had Dr. Paula Gordon, who earned the Order of Canada, which if you're not Canadian, you wouldn't know how big of a deal that is, but it's kind of like being knighted by the Queen. Which
Oh,
we're
wow.
Commonwealth. And she was granted the Order of Canada for her work on breast health. So just things that no one would ever really know that everyone should know. whether you're a woman or not a woman, right? I mean, just really, we have Darby Mills is coming up in November, and Darby Mills is known as the Janis Joplin of Canada. She was the lead singer for Headpins, and she's had a very interesting career since she was a teen all the way through in the music industry. We've had, oh my gosh, we've had Natasha Sampson, who is one of the top Ayurvedic, I don't even call her goddesses or practitioners to ever hit the scene. Dr. Jasri Lambert, as well, in terms of Ayurveda. We've had women that have broken into every sector, whether it's been legal sector, it's been the music sector, it's been the acting sector. We have an incredible woman coming who's all about film in January to be a featured speaker. We've had some really incredible women that have overcome and recovered things that you never thought possible. You never thought possible. Our January speaker is a really incredible speaker who overcame. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard a story like that. And you can imagine how many stories that I've heard. I've just never heard a story of overcoming some pretty incredible things for some, she, and now she's, got a podcast of 40 million dedicated followers, 100 million dedicated people that are following her story.
Wow.
And she talks about not only recovering from her tragedy, but also, ironically, she teaches people how to build social media now. Like, there's just everything. There's just an incredible vast amount of women. Yeah.
This sounds like an amazing movement that you have, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So yeah, this sounds very awesome. So can people, the summits that you've already done, can people go back to listen to them, or how do they get involved to be able to listen to any of the new ones?
Right. So what happens is it's free to the world to come. So if anyone's interested, let me know, and we'll give you the information to be able to attend November schedule. And we have people that are on an email list that we just keep sending that out to you each month. We have it, once we've done it for free, we then post it for free on my YouTube, which is Deb Drummond. You go to my YouTube and see that there for 8 days. And I know we're focusing around 8, but guess what? March 8th is International Women's Day. It then comes off. And in 2024, when we go full from International Women's Day onward, we will release the streaming channels, and you'll be able to see it on Amazon TV, Apple TV, Roku, and Hulu. It'll have its own streaming channel, and women and those that support women will be able to go back and see from the very first, we launched this last March, episode on the variety of women that are sharing. And so they'll be able to do that. So that's kind of how we've got it set up right now. So if people give us their information, we'll be able to let you know when all that happens, when we go fully live on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've built a reputation as a top performance speaker, mastermind trainer, personal coach. What are some tips for women entrepreneurs, and how do they become effective public speakers?
Oh, effective public speakers. So getting really defined. It's interesting. So yes, thank you. My background is in top performance. So I work with people that are at any stage in their business that want to either avoid what they're watching their friends go through, or they're at a place where it's like something's not equating. I usually get calls from people that are frustrated, maybe fiscally, or they're still doing too much work for the amount that they're making. They're cool with what they're making, but they're like, when am I going to get this life that this world promised me, right? So, so if someone wanted to be a public speaker and they wanted to top perform that, well, I'm going to tell them to reach out to people like myself. And I'm not saying that from a sales perspective. I'm saying, like, talk to people that are actually putting speaking events on. There's different ways for you to have speaking experience depending on how far you want to go with your career in that arena, right? So there is, someone's starting out and they're looking to be a professional speaker. Then there's a variety of women that are speaking different aspects of that. I coach people predominantly that want to use their speaking as a platform to platform something else, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's platforming themselves as a speaker, but they usually have a program or a class or an album or program, or they're raising funds for a film or what have you. That's where I step in and I teach people how to use speaking as a platform, how to be interviewed properly, what to do in that interview, how to play that. That's my specialty. If someone wanted to like be a TEDx speaker or something like that, and they just wanted to stay in one, that was the whole thing. It wasn't really about selling anything else as much as having a speaking career. Based on that, there's things that I can do, but there's other things that they can do as well. I would honestly say if someone was really dedicated and wanted to be a speaker, to come and watch, come to our summits, go to other summits, watch what people are doing, watch what you like, watch what you don't like. But there's the business part of it. The business part of it is having someone like me behind you. You have this, people that are behind you that are lining all that up, like where you should go, where you should be seen, what podcast you should be doing, how should you be vetting, how should you allow people to vet you? Like there's all that business infrastructure that makes what you do cream and not milk. It's the only way I can explain it, right? So people say float to the top, but there's literally things that you can do. You really need to vet. You really need to decide. You really need to practice your speech over and over and over and over and over again in front of a mirror. You need to time yourself. Make sure that if it's a 15-minute presentation, you don't do 18. And I'm not a fan of PowerPoints. I think a PowerPoint takes away from you. It's better to be interviewed. If you're not really competent or fully competent yet in what you're saying, then create interview questions and ask the person to interview you instead of relying on a PowerPoint. That's just my personal opinion and my professional opinion, because when people PowerPoint on our summit, the numbers drop. We actually don't allow it anymore. Yeah. Hope that's helpful.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely helpful. Now you have helped over 30,000 clients, which is amazing. What are some of the most rewarding aspects of working with all of those different type of clients?
Oh, wow. You know what it is? I think it's that I always say that it's when people meet themselves. It's like when I'm doing work with somebody and you see that smile that comes across their face. Like, again, I have, and you know what it's like to walk across the stage and get awards and all the accolades. For me, I have this duality of that's super cool and I'm appreciative and I know the work that I do and I feel in deservance, but there's a different kind of juice that runs through your veins when you actually get someone else to do that, or you see someone else have that success. So I think for me, I call it when people meet themselves, where they're starting to get attraction and their dreams are really starting to come into play. And you have that satisfaction of seeing that formula laid out, and you see the pressure just come off their shoulders, right? Because now you're not navigating what, you're now navigating how to do the what. You have a formula, you have a structure, you know where you're going. And there's so much relief to that, because it allows women, oh my gosh, it allows women to be able to say yes to the right things and no to things that don't work for them. And that's so tough. That's so tough. It's also tough for creatives. Obviously, I tend to have a lot of creative clients, a lot of people that are wanting to kind of break into the creative field, and the whole business infrastructure part for them, they don't like it, they don't gig it, they don't want it, and they get lost in it. And then they tend to either get taken advantage of, or they just keep swimming and they just keep swimming. And so when I say things like, I'm going to help you with your P&Ls, and I'm going to help you with your reverse engineering and strategic planning, and what we're going to do each quarter, and we're going to make decisions based on what's happened. And they're like, what? Like they're not, or people are sometimes afraid to say they don't even understand the infrastructure. They're just so talented. They're so gifted. They're such a great instructor or singer or actor or fashion designer or holistic practitioner or whatever. They're just so good at that. And they're hoping that their excellence will cover into other areas of their life, or they may not be able or feel they can't pay for people to infrastructure. And we just try to tap that out for people. Well, I try to tap that out for people.
Yeah, I've definitely found that most creatives, they just want to stay in the lane of just creating and let someone else like you handle the infrastructure of the business side of it,
Yeah.
because we just want to create.
Yeah. And that's fair. And the cool thing is, I know what it's like to be a creative, right? I mean, I owned a private house studio for 27 years, just throw that in the game. And I've helped many people. And so I know what it's like. I always say, I've been in service and I know what that's like. Sometimes you bleed out, sometimes you put more rice in someone else's bowl than your own. So you give till you're, tapped out. And it's because we try to do it all, or try to do the stuff that we're not really good at and don't know how to figure that out. So, yeah.
How do you adapt your coaching style to meet the needs of your different clients?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. You know what? I make sure that I keep a certain amount of my week and my month and my likely commitment to one-on-ones. And even if people are moving into an arena where they've been with me for a while and they're just doing kind of like a group thing or coming to a group thing, I kind of intimately know by the questions that I ask and the first time that we get together, exactly what they want to do. And I think when someone knows that you've got their back, the relationship goes really deep, really quick, really deep, really quick. And so I make sure that I take that time. And by nature, if someone's attracted to me to work with and I'm attracted to them to work with, like, I think I can really help them out. I don't know, I call it bizship. There's friendships and there's bizship. That bizship happens really pretty quickly. I think because I'm an empath, I think because I'm intuitive, I think that I play in that world, that our conversations are pretty solid right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you run multiple companies, 7 to be exact. How in the world are you handling and balancing the demands of running multiple companies and your family and all of the other stuff that you're doing?
Right. So I have built 7 companies. I'm probably playing in 4 right now. And so I think when people hear that, and one of them is I'm helping my son's company, right? So he's driving off his first at 19. So that's pretty cool. So how I do that is I build a team. And so I have, a team. And sometimes when people hear the word 4, they're like, I could never imagine quadrupling. But it's kind of like having kids. You go grocery shopping once. You don't have to go shopping 4 times. So I have a CFO who takes care of all of my business. I have a CMO that takes care of all of my businesses. I have an assistant that knows all of my businesses. And so from that part, I think your infrastructure has to be really, really tight. You have to really, honestly, I cannot say this enough. It is the cover. It is the front of my website. It is not the hours. It is the minutes that will change your business. It really is the minutes that will change your business. And I've hung around with enough CEOs to watch magic happen in 6.5 minutes. And so I think it's really, it's not about being short. I still, go through the process of saying no, as a recovered, female codependent or whatever it is, right? Trying to save the world. So I always have to just really do a double check. I have to scan. Is this applicable right now? Can I duplicate this right now? Can I farm this out right now? Can I delegate this right now? And I give my people carte blanche. I would rather my assistant go make a mistake and I have to fix it than her ask me 15 questions. I'm like, go, fly, little birdie, fly. Go and do that. So, and honestly, I've been an entrepreneur for 32 years. So I know what it's like to eat rice and peas. I know what it's like to eat steak and lobster. Like I know that it can fluctuate, and just making the best decisions that you can while you can. And then sometimes you have to push dates. You've got to push launch dates, or you realize that there's something that's come up on the plate, and it's okay to shift and move. That was a really difficult one for me. I'm like, okay, we made this, what we wanted to do. I wanted to do that walk across Ireland in 2024. Right. I love, that's a whole, I love music. It's kind of like, that's how I start my day. And this woman's project got so incredible. We couldn't even have imagined. So we had to move the date from 2024 to 2025. And I went through this internal dialogue, like, oh my gosh, I've had to change the date. And what does it say about me? And blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, hold on. You're going to be walking a no one else is walking across Ireland. It's good. You're good. Right. So let's just move the date. So sometimes you have to be willing to change things. Yeah.
Okay. So here at Transparency, I like to get very transparent. You know, people see the glitz and glam of everything that we do. They see you doing all of these speaker events and, you know, just a lot of big major moves. What has been some of the challenges you faced as an entrepreneur in your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting, you know, I started my entrepreneurial journey where wasn't cool for women to be entrepreneurs. There
Mm,
was no women's networking group, so I made one.
mm,
I think that along my journey, I've had to learn about my expenditure of energy. You know, like I've had to learn how to take my cape off many, many times. I've had to learn to be honest with myself. I have full transparency. I have not made it through these 32 years of an entrepreneurship without, at times, and I mean a lot of times, hiring experts, coaches, counselors, therapists. I would not have gotten through, my marital status change with two young kids, and I had a business of 18 staff, right?
right.
And I had two other companies that I was running. I literally had to take the two other companies, convert them into retail. They were direct sales companies across Canada. I had to make a decision. And I did that with two advisors. Honestly, it was my intuitive advisor and a friend of mine that was a CEO in Canada under 30, you know, one female, one male, and we kind of went at it. I have not done this alone. I have
Mm,
not done this alone. And that is interestingly one of the things that I struggle the most with. I tend to wait too long before I ask for help.
mm.
Yeah, full transparency. Like I have to catch myself all the time. You know, I was listening to Oprah this morning, right? I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like I have to stay filled up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, can you tell everybody how they can again tune in and get information to be able to get a part of the summit?
Absolutely. It's really easy. It's debdrummond.com, just like it sounds, DEBDRUMMOND. There's a contact page. Just reach out to us there. My email is deb@debdrummond.com. So super easy. Even if you're like, oh, I don't know if this is for me to participate in, it is absolutely you to come and receive. Like, come use this 8th day of the month as a refueling station for you. And again, when I say for women and those that support women, we have men that are coming on as well, because isn't that the whole idea is to make movement and make change. And so if you feel like you want to come be inspired and informed and educated and a place where you can just plug in and out all day long, and we've hit every time zone, then just come receive, come receive, and then please share, please share. So deb@debdrummond.com. Love to have you, love to connect with you. And yeah, just we'll get you on the list.
Okay. Well, I would like to take this time to thank you so much for coming on to my show. I do appreciate it. Your next summit is going to be November 8th.
November 8th. And yeah, there's, for time frame sake, it starts like at 9 in the morning and ends at 6 at night, which covers pretty well all continents. So
Okay.
November 8th, just remember that it's the 8th day of the month, 8th day of the month. And then once we hit International Women's Day, it goes every week. What?
Okay. That's
Uh-huh.
that's really going to be intense when you
Isn't
get
it?
to every week. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. I will be the keynote speaker on December 8th, so make sure you guys tune in. But go to debdrummond.com, the email that she just said. And thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We can't wait to have you on. Woo.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait either. I'll be in Miami for another event that I'm doing the very next day. So I'm going to fly in early so that I can do both. So it's going to
Well,
be fun.
we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, everybody, we are out of here and we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, everybody.